Hi, everybody. Joe Cioffi here. Weather in 5 days in 5 minutes. Brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware. Just want to remind everybody tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show, we've got this storm moving through the east tonight, and that's going to be producing some snow in northern and central New England later tonight into tomorrow. More storms are lining up for the next 7 days. And as we said, brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, New York. They've got mulch, they've got salt, and they've got sand, and they have plenty of snow and ice melt products. Everything you need to get you through this winter. Although we're still waiting for that first winter snowfall in many areas in the coastal Northeast and Mid-Atlantic states. 631-756-1125 for the best prices in town. OmniTrueValue.com is the website. And we may still be waiting after the next 5 days, the way things are going. Well, we do have on the satellite a storm system that is moving through the Great Lakes and into the Northeast, and it's producing some rain, even producing some lightning strikes up in northern Indiana late this afternoon and this evening, and also some thunderstorms there just off the coast of Florida that are moving to the east. Meanwhile, we've got rain in the northeast, and you see it here, a fairly large area. The northern fringe of this is producing some sleet and a little bit of freezing rain, but it is mostly rain, at least for now. And that is going to continue to move northeastward as we go through the rest of this afternoon and into this evening. Meanwhile, you can see the upper trough with this is kicking off some downpours and even a couple of rumbles of thunder here and there as that sweeps eastward into Ohio. And there could be some bouts of severe weather here, not out of the question, believe it or not. That's at least according to Storm Prediction Center. As we take a look, you'll see that they actually have a severe thunderstorm watch that is up for parts of Ohio. And with respect to the actual risk area, we're seeing enhanced risk of severe weather in Ohio with a 2% tornado risk. So that's highly unusual for this time of year. But when you consider how the pattern has been, I guess we really shouldn't be too surprised. Next 7 day rainfall amounts are going to be substantial in coastal New England of 2 to 2.5, 3 inches of liquid, with 2 inches back to about New York City and Long Island, and an inch and a half back into eastern Pennsylvania. Also, 1.5 to 2 to 3 inch rainfalls for the southeast and down along the Gulf Coast. Starts to tail off as you head up into the southern plains and toward the Great Lakes. And look at the west, particularly California, where very little, if any, rainfall is forecast for the next 7 days. So we've gone full circle. Days and days of seeing 5 to 10 inch rainfalls or more being forecast, and now they're getting a much deserved break. Snowfall, the probability for at least 2 inches. Again, this will be more for later tonight and tomorrow from southern Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, actually kind of pushing into northern Massachusetts. The 50% line is just north and west of Boston. And then runs to about Albany in New York, and also seeing some higher probabilities of 50% or more in southwestern New York and into the Appalachians in West Virginia. Also, with the next system coming out of the southwest, we see high probabilities in southeast Colorado and western Kansas, as well as 50% or higher probabilities back through Utah, northern Arizona, and on up into Nevada. If we just put up the probability for at least 8, just to highlight the places that are getting something more substantial, small chance in southeast Colorado, also a small chance in northern Michigan on the Upper Peninsula, and a 40 to 50% chance for at least 8 in parts of eastern New Hampshire and southeastern parts of Maine. And in the long range, we do want to point out, now this is for Sunday into Monday with the next storm system, there's a 10 to 30% chance for at least 2 or 3 inches from western North Carolina in the mountains of western Virginia. And you start to see the darker green is 30 to 50% in eastern West Virginia up through central PA and into northeast PA. You start to get some pockets in blue here of 50 to 70% in the Poconos, the Catskills, and up to the Berkshires and into New Hampshire and Maine. and the southern edge of 10 to 30, just south of Boston, along the Connecticut coast to about New York City, cuts across northern New Jersey, and cuts back into south central Pennsylvania. That 10 to 30% probability, while it's there, I think it might be pushing it a little bit based on what I've been looking at. So, taking a look at this storm system using the GFS late today, the low in Lake Michigan, the rain area moving to the northeast. You start to see the rain spread into Vermont, New Hampshire, and that'll be snow. Quickly turn over to snow, snow in Maine, and then as this low redevelops east of Cape Cod Friday morning, we'll see the back edge come down and bring in some snow back down into eastern Massachusetts, and then out it goes. After that, weather improves. Here comes the next system moving into the southern plains. That starts to move east. It picks up some Gulf moisture. You have a low in New Orleans early Sunday morning. That starts to move to the northeast, and it spreads precipitation up the coast. You can see where the snow is on the GFS. It's Poconos, Catskills, and points north and west. Rain everywhere else. Some of the other models are a little bit more to the east and a little bit colder. I don't know how much faith I have in that. It's been consistent with these storms that there just isn't enough cold air. So there's our low Sunday, Monday morning off the Delaware coast, running to the northeast with some heavy rains along the coastline from the Delmarva Peninsula northeastward into southeastern New England. Then the low moves on out, and then there's a third system here, and you see it starting to come out of the plains again, and this one wants to track to the west, at least the way this model shows it, and that might mean for some snow in the interior, and again rain for much of the coastal areas from southeastern New England on southward into the northern mid-Atlantic states. That's just the way things are right now at the moment. We will, of course, get into all of this and have some newer models to look at tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show. Weather in 5 is brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, New York. 631-756-1125 is the telephone number, and the website is omnitruevalue.com. Before we go, just want to leave you with the watches and warnings that are up, and we do have winter storm warnings ongoing in Maine, in the coastal counties of Maine, back into New Hampshire, winter weather advisories everywhere else, up the upper Hudson Valley on northward into northern New York, and also through much of Massachusetts except the southeast and a couple of counties in northwest Connecticut. See, we have a working severe thunderstorm watch in western Ohio as of 4 p.m. Eastern Time. New winter storm watches and warnings for southeastern Colorado and western Kansas, and winter weather advisories from Arizona on up into Nevada and over into southern parts of Idaho. We will see you tonight at 7:35 Eastern Time.